What year did you begin working here at Yavapai?
1979.
And as you came to Yavapai, what were your roles defined for you?
I first came, I was a financial aid counselor, and I reported to the counseling department, to the director of counseling. It was Ann Heim at the time. But at that point, I was the only person in the financial aid department, although I did kind of negotiate when I accepted the position, commitment from the institution to expand that, because that was just about the time that at the time, it was called the Pell Grant now, which was at that time was the Basic Educational Opportunity Grant. So all the funds and the programs were just really expanding, and opportunities for students were becoming more prevalent. So it necessitated additional support staff. So within 3 months, I was able to hire a full-time assistant. And then within probably 5-6 years, and we broke off and established our own department. And I think there are probably like 7 people in the financial aid office by now.
There were quite a few. How did you end up at Yavapai College? Like, what drew you to Prescott, Arizona?
Well, I was working at Pasadena City College. My wife was a student at USC, and we're kind of splitting the difference right off of Sunset Boulevard in LA. And we had a son, and it's a nice place to grow up single, but not a great place to raise a kid. So I was familiar with the Prescott area, and so we looked at a couple of other opportunities. So basically, we're looking to relocate to raise a family, and Prescott was our number one option.
So were there any major obstacles you had to conquer to get to Yavapai, or was it a pretty smooth transition?
The the major obstacle was the fact that I started August 1 and was the only person in the department, and we had to generate payments and checks for several hundred students, and coming into a new situation. But I had a lot of support from the rest of the counseling staff and people who that wasn't their primary area of responsibility, chipping in and putting in 60-hour weeks, and we got things done. But the college was even the other thing I was impressed with, even before I actually started my position and was on the payroll, they paid for me to go to I was still an employee of Pasadena City College at the time, a workshop in Arizona. So there was clearly a commitment to do things right and provide the necessary resources to get the job done right, and that was communicated from day one, and it's pretty much been consistent throughout. So,
can you recall your most challenging experience working at Yavapai?
Yeah, it was probably towards the end of the Paul Walker administration in the late 80s. It was very combative atmosphere between faculty and administration, and I think it was a difficult environment to maintain a positive, upbeat approach and attitude on a daily basis. So that was probably the most difficult time frame, I would imagine.
When you started working here at Yavapai, did you set expectations for yourself, or did you expect something from yourself?
Well, I was looking to explore different options within student services. And as I indicated, I think the college from the very beginning was very supportive in providing opportunities for professional development. It supported me. In my second year, I was president of the Arizona State Association of Financial Aid Administrators. It allowed me to travel to national and regional conferences to improve and upgrade knowledge. Sent me to University of Delaware to examine other structures on how to deliver student services. So had an opportunity to visit a number of other institutions and student services organizations, and I think that helped a great deal. So I was pretty much committed to a career in student services, and felt that I had ample opportunity to expand my horizons and have that supported by the college.
When you started working here at Yavapai, do you know how many or how much it costs per credit hour to attend?
Somewhere, seems like it was in the 20s per credit hour.
So not much, too much of an income.
It was the cheapest option for post-secondary education, clearly in the state, but nationally it was close. I mean, California was free at the time, but it was one of the lowest cost institutions nationally, and probably still is.
What was the campus environment like when you were working here at Yavapai?
When I began? Very positive, very upbeat. A lot of what I thought was really neat was the president had all the new faculty over for a barbecue at his house. There was a number of great sense of camaraderie, not only in the faculty but most of the staff. And it was a very positive, pleasant place to work, which is probably why I stayed here for 30 years.
Do you think it's still that way? Or do you think it's...
I do. I think, any relationship, for 30 years is going to have its highs and lows, but for the most part, it's been an outstanding place to work, and had a number of very positive professional and personal relationships over the years, and never regretted a moment. There's, like I say, over 30 years there were periods when things like the Walker experience, and so I had an opportunity to explore opportunities at other institutions, and I in each case had a position offered to me. And ultimately it came down to weighing everything, and my decision was, is this offer ultimately, even though it's maybe for more money, a little bit more responsibility, overall a better option? In each case I chose to stay at Yavapai and never regretted it.
Are you involved in any extracurricular activities or clubs here on campus?
Not currently. I just retired about 9 months, 10 months maybe. And so I've been doing a lot of traveling, and so after a period of time, I fully anticipate becoming more actively involved, but I haven't been, because I haven't been here for an extended period of time.
Okay. Were you involved when you were working here?
I, for over the years, helped out doing the scoreboard and the basketball, helped out with fundraising, and have whatever opportunity came in a number of different capacities over the years, been involved. I was involved with the honors program as Director of Financial Aid for the majority of my tenure at Yavapai.
Did you notice any outside factors affecting the college environment, such as war, politics?
Oh, I think on a minimal basis, probably the most impactful outside factor was, 9/11 and people's reaction to it, and how it impacted the way business was done a little bit initially. In a lot of ways, it was a positive reaction. In some ways, it kind of made people a little more defensive, cautious.
Can you recall your most rewarding experience working here at Yavapai?
Probably just about any graduation. I mean, that kind of underlines and punctuates everything we, especially in student services, but I think faculty feel the same way. It gives us, you see people and their reactions, and you know what they've gone through and the sacrifices they've made, and you know the impact it's going to have on their life and their family's life, and eventually the community, and it's just a really incredibly gratifying feeling, and it never, even after 25 or 27 of them, you just it doesn't diminish your reaction and your sense of accomplishment. That's pretty much what led to me staying in the community college environment. I had a couple opportunities to go to four-year institutions, and I just really, having been a byproduct of a community college and my experiences both at Pasadena and here, were so positive that, and I always felt that community college is, probably the last bastion of democracy, where as long as people wanted to improve the quality of their life, they had an opportunity to do so. They weren't, excluded because of cost or because of poor performance or poor preparation. All the resources were here to help them get through, whatever their deficiencies were. And so it was always a great sense of satisfaction to be involved in that.
Do you think it's better for a student to maybe go to a 2-year community college and transfer to a university, or maybe just start off in the university?
I think almost in every case it's a better experience for a number of reasons. And I know my experience, I came from a small Catholic high school, and my classes, even though it was a larger community college than this, were still smaller than you'd find at a four-year university. Long Beach State, which was the other big option for people graduating from my high school, had 40,000 people, and Long Beach City at the time I think probably had about 15. So it was a big difference. And then I transferred to a university, a small liberal arts community university, and so the class size and the student to teacher ratio were very positive. But over the years, I've just seen really even academically prepared students come from, especially a smaller community, go to the university and just have, culture shock.
And some say that at a community college, the level of education isn't as high as you would get at a university. Do you believe that's true?
Absolutely not. In my case, like I suggested earlier, it was superior. You go to, especially the first couple of years, because you go to the general ed classes, and they've got several hundred, and oftentimes they're being taught by a TA or some type of assistant professor if you're lucky, and you don't get the same experience. You don't get the interaction, and you just don't get, in many cases, people at a university, if they're going to be successful, they need to be, oriented towards publishing, and the teaching isn't their primary focus. Where at a community college, that's what they're here for. And you got people who, quite frankly, in my experience, both as a student and as a colleague, are better equipped to be instructors and have much more, have the appropriate skill set to be effective interacting with students, because a lot of the education doesn't take place necessarily in the classroom. It deals with how they interact, how they support, how they guide the students through that whole experience. You're going to get a much better, in my beliefs, experience with a community college instructor than you are at any, regardless of how good that university is, especially a large public institution. And it's nothing against those institutions, but just I think the environment isn't conducive to, some self-directed students don't have a problem, but they could do just as well on online classes for that matter.
That's another thing. We have the new wave that's hitting the nation is online classes, online universities too. What do you think that lowers the level of education?
Not necessarily. It doesn't have to. It depends on how well it's coordinated. And I think most cases, even in institutions that are renowned for, that deliver, University of Phoenix, for example, if they do it right, and it's usually a hybrid where there is a combination of doing research and delivering and communicating online, which is what somebody's going to have to do in the job place anyway, is learn how to collect information, assemble it, and then process it. And so if they're there as the instructor, as a guide, I think it could be a very positive experience. I know my son's experience. He got his degree through NAU, but a lot of it was, in fact, it was done here in Prescott. But he took classes from Yavapai, and he took classes from NAU online, took classes from Old Dominion, from Rio Salado simultaneously. So whoever, and many of his experiences, even the online ones or the ones that were on TV, I don't know what the
Dougherty, I believe. Or,
yeah. If with the right instructor, it's just like whether they're lecture, in-person classes. A lot of it depends on the quality of the instructor and their comfort level with that delivery medium. And some of them do it, outstandingly, and some of them have, some learning curves.
In the long run, after retiring from Yavapai, has it been everything you expected it to be when you first came?
Oh, probably exceeded, I would imagine. I don't think I came here with the thought of staying 30 years. A lot of things factored into it. It was a wonderful place to raise a kid. It was a great place to live. But it was a great place to work, and it provided more than ample opportunity for personal and professional growth. And like I said, even those times when you're looking to explore different options and you're weighing that choice, in every case, it's probably 4 or 5 times over that course of almost 30 years. I had a difficult decision to make, and in each situation I chose Yavapai and never regretted it.
Would you recommend Yavapai College to possible future students compared to the surrounding junior colleges in this state?
Absolutely. For a number of reasons, and but primarily I still believe that commitment to excellence still is prevalent. I think there's just outstanding instructors in just every department. I think that's supported by the administration, and I spent a lot of time recruiting students for Yavapai College, and I would have no reservations for doing that currently or in the future.
Great. Well, thank you, Mr. Dougherty.
You're more than welcome.